to us. We praise God for his help, even in the midst of all this rain. We thank God that he has made it to where we are here today, safe, a little wet, but we can still say thank you. And we bless God for that. Oh, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Praise the Lord. We give you all the glory. We give you all the glory. We give you all the glory. Praise the Lord. Bow down and worship him. Worship him. Oh, worship him. Bow down and worship him. Enter in. Oh, enter in. Consuming fire, sweet perfume, in his presence fills this room. This is holy ground. This is holy ground. So come and bow down. So come and bow down. Praise the Lord again. If you would turn me in your Bibles to 1 Samuel chapter 17. 1 Samuel chapter 17. We want to look at verses 45 and then 47 through 49, where we will take a part of our sermonic text from verse 48, but we will read verses 1 down. But I want to give you our subject, and the only way for me to give you the subject, I have to read verse 45, verse 47 through 49. When you have 1 Samuel chapter 17, signify by saying amen.
Amen.
And the word of the Lord reads, Then said David to the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword and with a spear and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. Verse 47 through 49. And all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands. And it came to pass, when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, that David hasted. Somebody say, David hasted and ran toward the army to meet the Philistines. Verse 49 says, and David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone and slang it and smote the Philistine in the forehead, that the stone stuck into his forehead, and he fell upon his face to the earth. Our subject for this afternoon is entitled, It's Time to Step Over the Line and Defeat the Enemies of God. It's time to step over the line and defeat the enemies of God. As we read through verses 1 through the rest of the chapter, you will find that David was sent to go to where the battle was being held by his father. You know, prior to this time, David was anointed king by the prophet Saul. The prophet poured oil upon David's head after rejecting his older siblings. And you remember that when a person is anointed, that it is not an appointment for the time always, but it is something that is to come. And you see that David, unlike most people in the church, David didn't get anointed and went right to service, but he went back for training. The Bible tells us that David went back to where he kept his father's sheep and his father's goat, and that's where he stayed. That's where he continued. What I want you to think about was David had an anointing. He had oil poured upon his head. He had been pronounced and proclaimed by the prophet that this is the man that God has appointed to be the king. And I want you to understand that with that proclamation did not mean immediate elevation. And what I need you to understand is that David had to go back to a place of preference and perfection. And the Bible lets us know that while David was there, that God allowed some stuff that happened in his life. And while he was keeping his father's sheep, that he had to face some enemies. Y'all ain't gonna help me here. While he was anointed, he had to face some difficulties that didn't seem right because he was the anointed of God. He was appointed and proclaimed something. He had to face some life-threatening situations. But what it did was it caused David to understand that no matter what you're going through, that God is with you, and the battle is never yours. It's always the Lord's. You got to understand some things that in your life you battling with some stuff, and you didn't just start battling with some of the stuff. Some of the stuff you've been battling with for a lifetime, and you've now made it your life story to keep battling with the same thing over and over again. But it's time for us to let ourselves stay in the process of perfection, that when God calls us to the next season of our life, we'll be prepared for the battle. It's time to step over the line and defeat the enemies of God. I know stepping over the line don't make sense yet, but come on with me in the chapter and I'm going to show you where it is. And the Bible said, now the Philistines gathered together their armies to battle and were gathered together in Shachar, which belonged to Judah, and pitched between Shachar and Azekah in Epidemic. And Saul and the men of Israel were gathered together and pitched by the valley of Elah and sent the battle in array against the Philistines. Now, those of you that just read your Bible and don't take the time to study your Bible, you would have thought that that meant that the Philistines and the Israelites were fighting, but that's not what that means. If you go back to the lexicon and understand the meaning of the word array, it just simply means they line themselves up in order of their rank. Y'all didn't hear me. That means that the captains were standing in front of the captains of the Philistines Philistines. That means that the privates were standing in the presence of the privates of the Philistines, but nobody was fighting. Oh, y'all still don't get that? The Bible just simply tells you that they were all standing in position. They were all standing, but nobody was making any motion. And what I see is the church, we standing in our authority by titles. We the pastor, we the bishop, we the apostle, and we the evangelist, the missionary. Y'all ain't gonna help me here. And what we're doing, we're standing in the face of the devil, and we're not going to battle, but we're just looking at each other. Tell somebody, it's time to step over the line, because they were all in line, but nobody was making any motion. Y'all look at this, look at this, look at this. I know, look at this, look at verse 3. And the Philistines stood on a mountain on one side, and Israel stood on a mountain on what? Now, see, they all look good. Because if they both on mountains, that means nobody can get to the other person. We in our church, the devil in the street. We in our services, we walk in with the Lord, and our children being destroyed by everything that's in the world. What we're doing is we're standing and we in our line. But ain't nothing being done. Nothing is being recovered. Nothing's being destroyed. But yet, we are ready. We decked out in our armor. We got our years of experience and we got our titles, but mother, ain't nothing going on. But look what the Bible says. And I see y'all got to go with me, because when I was listening to these verses this weekend, God told me to listen again. Rethink it. Go back to it. And we've always preached, and we've heard the sermons giant fall. And we've heard all these sermons about these great things about David. But God said, I want you to make sense of how that they were in line, but nobody crossed the territory to a reigning man. Now see this. The Bible says there were mountains on both sides, and there was a valley. What? Between them. Now, that means they were all in a good place. Mountains, both the armies of God and the enemies of God. They were all both in a high place. But mother, if they were going to fight, they will have to come to the battle. Oh, because they couldn't fight being on two mountains. But if they were going to meet, they will have to come down into the valley. Oh my God. Y'all watch this. The Bible says, and there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. That means he was over 9 feet tall. Over 9 feet tall. Right? Let's keep going. And he had an helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail, and the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass. And he had greaves of brass upon his legs, and a target of brass between his shoulders. Now, that just tell you that he was a champion, so they made him look good. Because he never really had to go to battle, because he was bigger than anybody. It didn't take him a whole lot to defeat anybody. So we get caught up with the looks of our enemies. We get caught up with the size. We get caught up at its presentation. But most of it is intimidation more than it is the actual strength of a thing. Y'all ain't hearing me. Now look at this. Let's look at this. Verse 7 says, and the staff of his spear was like a weaver's bead, and his spear's head weighed 600 shekels of iron. 1 bearing a shield went before him. Now that's a joke. He got a regular sized man carrying a shield for him. Okay? No, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Verse number 8 says, and he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel, and said unto them, why are ye come out to set your battle in array? Why are you standing in attention? Why are you in line? Am I a Philistine and your servants to Saul? Choose you a man for you, and let him come down where? So where was Goliath? Where was Goliath? Come on, y'all, gotta see it. Where was Goliath? Y'all ain't talking loud enough. Y'all, anybody get there? I can't see y'all because I'm not wearing context. So go loud. Well, where was he? He was in the valley. Now, the both armies were on the mountain. But the battle was waiting in the valley. Amen. Where was the battle? In the valley. Yeah, we in church. But the battle shouldn't be in church. Battle is in the valley. Amen. Now look at this. Look at this. If ye be able to fight with me and to kill me, then will we be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall you be our servants and do what? Serve us. And the Philistine said, I do what? Defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a what? Man. That we may fight together. In other words, Goliath said, y'all bunch of sorry men. Y'all already bunch of talk. He said, y'all are as good as we've heard about you. If God is with y'all the way we've heard, sing with me. Y'all got the power that y'all say y'all shouting about? Sing me a man. Y'all got the anointing that y'all say y'all got? Sing me a man. Sing me a man. Tell somebody, let's step over. Let's step over. And defeat the armies of God. Defeat the enemies of God. Defeat the enemies of God. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look what it says. Look what it says. He says, and Saul, who was Saul? The king. And the king said, and when the king and all Israel heard those words of the Philistines, they were full of strength and power. What do the word say? They were dismayed and greatly afraid. Now, if the leader is afraid, what are you going to say about the rest of the people? Saul was giving directions to these people. He was as afraid or even more so than they were. Look at the next verse. Now David was the son of the Ephrathite of Bethlehem, Judah, whose name was Jesse, and had 8 sons. How many sons? 8. And the man went among men for an old man in the days of Saul. Now look what that just showed you. The Bible says here is the counteraction or counterpart to the Philistines and to Saul. Philistine had a 9-foot man. Saul was the king but afraid. But there was a man by the name of Jesse who had 8 sons. And there's something unique about Jesse. Look at the next verse. And the 3 eldest sons of Jesse went and followed Saul to the battle. And the names of his 3 sons that went to battle were Eliab, the firstborn, and the next unto Abinadab, and the third Shema. Now, what was significant about these 3 people? They were the ones that the prophet immediately thought that God wanted to anoint to be king because of their look and their stature. Yeah. No. Think about what I'm saying. Men are concerned about the outward things. Because these boys look good. They had the right presentation. But God wasn't concerned with how they look externally, but he was concerned about their hearts. Now you say, how did God know their hearts? I'm about to show you. I'm about to show you. Y'all ready for me to show you? Yeah. These three boys are in the army with Saul, right? Saul and the men were what? Dismayed and what? Greatly afraid. That means that Eliab, Abinadab, and Shema were also dismayed and what? Afraid. Greatly afraid. Look at the next verse. Now look at the next verse. And David, somebody said, and David. And David was the youngest, and the three elders followed what? Saul. Now, if y'all don't understand how word context means what they mean, it's time to step over the line and defeat the enemies of God. Because here's what the writer wanted you to understand. Here's a contrast. You got the Philistine with a great army and a champion. You got Saul, who was the king, and you got the three oldest sons who had all the look and the size. And then you got the youngest son, who was really the hero. Let me show you. But David went and returned from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. Now that sounds confusing. But you're trying to figure out, what that tells you is that when David was anointed king, he had to go back to serve as a shepherd. But he's at the battle now. Right? Now look at the next verse. And the Philistine drew near morning and evening and presented himself. How many days? 40. How many days does God's people have to deal with this? 40. How many days? 40. How many days? 40. Now y'all think after 40 days you get tired one day. But they were coming every day doing the same thing right here. Every day looking the part. Look at the next one. And Jesse said unto David his son, what? Take now for thy brethren an ephah of this parched corn and these 10 loaves and brought to the camp to thy brethren. Now let's deal with this from a human perspective. Because David, that camera just beat. I did hear a beat. It's about to go up. You have to switch. If it goes out, just let it record the audio. Don't worry about it. David was a human. There was nothing divine about him. He's been anointed king. Yes. But here's what I want y'all to do. If that was you, and you know you were to be the king, what would you be telling your dad? If he tells you, I want you to go to the battle where your brothers are. What would you be telling your dad? Thank you, Father, I will go immediately. Or you'd be saying, Daddy, hold on. I'm supposed to be the king. What if I get killed? Right? You wouldn't be in a hurry to get up there. But the Bible said David had such a meek spirit that he did exactly what he was commanded of his father. Strength, saints, is not in what you do in rebellion, but strength is in what you do in obedience. Let me show you this. And carry these 10 sheaves unto the captain of their 1,000, and look how thy brethren fear, and take their pledge. For Israel and the Philistines had put the battle in array, and army against army, and David left his carriage in the hand of a keeper, who was also responsible of the carriage, and ran into the army and came and saluted his brother. Like his father said, take these bread and these parchment according to your brothers, and then go to the captains and give the cheese to them. Look at the next verse. And he talked with them. Behold, there came up the champion of the Philistines of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to what? The same words, and David heard them. What words were those? I defile you and your God. Verse number 24. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled where? From who? From who? They fled. They ran away from who? Goliath. They ran away from Goliath, and they were sore afraid. And David said, what have I done? I jumped down to verse 29. So you can understand his brothers approached him and said to him, what are you doing here? Same brothers who are afraid, just like the others, the same brothers who God did not choose to be king, they approached David and says, we know your kind, we know your mischief. We know you like to be in the forefront. We know you like to be the one who get all the attention. Why do you come here? What did you do with daddy's sheep? What did you do with daddy's goat? And here's what David's reply is, verse 29. He says, and David says, what have I done? Is there not a cause? And he turned from him towards another and spake after the same manner, and the people answered him again after the former manner. David said, what's going to happen to whoever killed this Philistine? And when the words were heard, which David spake, they rehearsed them before who? Your gift will make room for you. It will bring you in the presence of great men. Stop thinking you need to do all this stuff for people to find out who you are. Just serve with humility. Just do the will of God, because God will bring you to the place where you need to be. Like I said, David got anointed a king when he went sent back to be a shepherd. Now it comes time where his brothers are at battle, and his father says, I want you to go to check on your brothers and bring me back word. The Bible said David then goes back to his father, and then his father said, I want you to take this bread and these corn and these cheese and go back to the battle. This time David gets there. He hears what Goliath is saying. Who did it? Who did it? Somebody help answer me, please. When I say who did it, you say God did it. Who did it?
God did it.
Who did it?
God did it.
God positioned David now to be done. David didn't have to do it himself. The prophet couldn't do it for him, and the king couldn't stop it. Come on, let's go here. Let's look what he says. Look what he says. Verse 30 says, or verse 31 says, and when the words which were heard, which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. Verse 32. And David said, let no man's heart fail because of him who? Goliath. That will go and fight with this what? Now who was David? The youngest of his daddy's sons. The least to have any look of success. And the last one you would think that would have the courage. Men are good parents, but God looks on the way. Because the brothers had the right look, they had the right stature, but they were cowards. David didn't have the look or the stature, but David had confidence in his. Oh, y'all are hearing here. Y'all look at this. Look at this. I hope y'all getting something out of this. Y'all look at this. Look at verse number 33. And Saul said to David, thou art not able to fight against this Philistine, to fight with him. Be careful what you listen to people tell you. Be careful what you listen to the content of what people sow into your heart. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. And you need to be careful what you allow to enter the fortress of your belief. The Bible told us in another place in Exodus, when they had gone through the land, spied out the land, and saw what God promised them, they said, we be as grasshopper. The land will swallow you up. They're great men. The land is has fortress. And the people were afraid. They had the evidence of God's victory in their hands. They had the evidence of milk and honey in their hands, but they were defeated at the words of negativity. And here Saul is telling David, boy, you ain't the right person for this. Y'all look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. David says, he says, for thou art a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. You don't have the experience, son. But Saul does. And where is he? Hiding in a tent. His brothers have not only the experience, but they have the look and the presentation, but they're cowards. David has already gone on the battlefield of life. Oh, y'all ain't gonna hear me here. David has already spent time in the school of perfection with God. Oh, y'all ain't gonna hear me here. No, y'all ain't gonna hear me here. Y'all ain't gonna hear me here. Now look at what David said. And David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep. I was obedient to the things that God told me to do and what my father told me to do. And there came a lion and a bear and took a lamb out of the flock. Y'all ain't hearing me. And when I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him. That's what David said. My father told me, don't let none of my animals be killed. And I protected every one of them. He said, I went and I took it out of the mouth of the family. David could have been a coward and just let it die. He simply said, Daddy, I lost one. But David said, my father told me not to lose one.
Jesus.
He said, I went and I took it out of his mouth. And when it came up against me, I took him by his beard and I slew him. Y'all ain't hearing me. The time to cross the line. We've been standing in the ring long enough. We've been standing in our titles and our proper adornment long enough. It's time to cross the line and defeat the enemies of God. Yo, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look what he says. I hope y'all feel this the way I feel it. Then you look at this. David says in verse 36, thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them. Who's saying it? David said, I got confidence. I'm not going to let my size cripple me. I'm not going to let my lack of experience be a deficit for me. I'm not going to do it. He said, I'm not going to let what I don't think I have or what I don't know to stop me. Because David said, the one thing I have confidence in is that the Lord is on my side. Y'all even hear me? Anybody in this house know that the Lord is on your side? I know you feel like you in the midst of nothing and you can't accomplish anything because everything comes against you and you feel like people keep telling you what you can't do. They tell you and remind you of how many people failed before you. Y'all didn't hear me. But I need you to be reminded where God has been in your situation. And some of us, the enemies of God is that spirit of doubt and fear. And negativity. Before you can go to battle with the enemy, you got to deal with your own self. You got to deal with your self-talk. You got to deal with how you think. And you got to deal with how you perceive God. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. He says, thy servant slew both the lion and the bear. And this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he hath defied the armies of the living God. And David said, moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of. Who did it?
The Lord.
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 The Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear. He will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. The very God that brought you through Jim Crow. The very God that brought you through racism and segregation. The very God that saved you from cancer and all manner of sickness and disease. He will also deliver you today and now. You got to look at this. Look at this. Hallelujah, God. Hallelujah. But look at this. Look at this. He says, Look what he says. David says, God shall deliver me. And Saul said unto David, go, and the Lord be what? With me. Now Saul says that, but he doesn't mean it. Just because people say spiritual things to you, don't mean they really mean it. You hear what I'm telling you?
Yes.
He said, Pastor, how you know that? I'm about to show you. So y'all look at this. Am I taking too long? Y'all watch this. Watch this. Look at what Saul says to David, go and the Lord be with you. And verse number 38 says, and Saul armed David with his. With what? No, let's just deal with one word. With what? His. H-I, what? His. In other words, Saul said, this worked for me. Here, let me put it over. It ain't working for you, Saul, because you hide. It hasn't given you confidence, Saul, because you are defeated before you even went to the battle. And you telling me put the same stuff on that you will and in the same actions you take it, but it's not working for you. But yet you say use them. And here it is. David is being suited or equipped by a defeated individual.
Right.
You know, if you have confidence in God,
Yes.
you will call others to develop confidence in God. Y'all know that?
Yes.
I have nothing else but to trust God in my life.
Yes.
I'm in situations where, by any normal standard, I should be crazy. I should be somewhere dribbling on myself and people giving me medicine every few hours. But the fact that I have took myself and put my mind in the mind of Christ, and the fact that I keep my mind stayed on Him, the stuff keep coming, stuff keep going, things still become, but He keeps me in perfect peace. Now, perfect peace does not mean the absence of hardship. Perfect peace does not mean that sometimes I don't almost pop and lose my temper. It just simply means before I act out, I remember who is on my side.
Yes.
Oh, y'all ain't gonna help me here. Y'all look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Verse 38 says, and Saul armed David with his armor, and he put a helmet of brass upon his head. Also, he armed him with a coat of what? So what did he do? He made David look like Saul. Made David look like Goliath. He gave him the same thing Goliath had. How many know that you don't need to look like the enemy to defeat?
Right.
Oh. You don't need to look like the enemy to defeat him. Look at the next verse. Verse 39. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go. He attempted to go. For he had not what? These were things that were unfamiliar to him. See, what I do know is that I'm fighting every day.
Yes.
What I do know is I feel like I'm almost out of my mind 24 hours a day. What I do know is at times that I don't have the right answers. What I do know is I've had sickness upon my body. What I do know is I have been left to myself. What I do know is I'm always the outcast. What I do know, I'm not usually the favorite of anybody. But what I do know is that the Lord is on my side. Y'all need to hear me. Y'all look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. David tried to go. I tried to shout like other people. I tried to go to as many services as they wanted me to attend. I tried to do what they said would work for me. get me where God wanted me to be. Y'all ain't hearing me. But let me show you. Watch this. Look what the Bible says. Verse 39b says, and David said unto Saul, I cannot what? Go with these. Now Saul's a king. And David says, I'm not going to disrespect your position or your officer, but I can't use these things. These don't work for me. For I have not proved them. And David did what? David did what? David did what? David took them off of him. Stop putting other people's stuff on me. Stop trying to act and be other people. Be yourself in God. You don't have to jerk like other people jerk. You don't have to sound like other people sound. Be yourself in God. Somebody say, you sound just like some. No, I'm not trying to sound like any other preacher. I'm trying to make full proof of my ministry. I'm trying to do those things that God has called me to. And sometimes it's uncomfortable even to me. But I've got to do what's been proven. Y'all watch this. Watch this. David pulls it off of him. Go down to verse 45. I'm going to shorten the story. In my conclusion. Then said David to the Philistine. Why? Because Goliath says, am I a dog that you come at unto me? With sword and stake. He said, hey, little boy, what are you doing here? You look out of place. You don't have any armor. You don't have no helmet. You don't have a coat of mail. You look like a shepherd. Hey, am I a dog that you come to chase me off from the herd? You look ill-equipped. Come on here, then. You want to give your life? Come on here. He said, I'm going to give your flesh to the fowls of the air. Let them get you. You crazy enough to come after me? Cross the line.
Yeah. Oh, blessed you. Yes.
Yeah, I know. I was a little boy. I dare you. I dare you. In fact, I double dare you.
Yes, Lord, yes.
Put a little sand in your hand. I dare you. Goliath says to David, come on.
Oh, yeah.
You think you bad enough?
Amen.
Because Goliath had done it multiple times to the armies of God. And every time he challenged them to cross the line, they fled and hid. So Goliath looked at this little shepherd boy and said, man, stop playing.
Yes.
Let's stop wasting time. If you're going to do this, cross the line.
Amen.
Tell somebody it's time.
It's time
To cross the line.
to cross the line.
To defeat
The
the enemies
enemies
of God.
of God.
Did you look? So then David said to the Philistine, thou come unto me with a sword and with a spear and with a shield.
Yes.
He says, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts,
Yes.
the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou defiest. He says, look here, Goliath, your day is today. He said, it's time for us to stop running from you and coming to you. So y'all ain't here. And any of y'all ready to stop running from the devil, stop talking about the problem, and let's become the solution. We don't need to have another meeting. We don't need to have another service to talk about or pray over it. We need to just go into it.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we've been standing. Proper adorning. We got all the tools. But we in a safe place. We're on the mountain. We got to go to the valley.
Yes.
It's time to cross the line.
Amen.
Y'all ain't gonna talk to me now. I know you're comfortable. But you're gonna have to be discomforted if we're gonna win this one.
Yes.
You gonna have to do some things that don't feel good.
Yes.
But look here. Verse number 47 says, and all this assembly shall know what? See, David didn't say, everybody don't know my name. Because we doing it and say, look at me. My name is. No, hold on, wait a second. My name is. Y'all know. Somebody said, brother. He's like, excuse me, I'm elder so-and-so. Excuse me, sister. No, I'm missionary somebody. David says, today, the enemies and everybody will know. What they gonna know? What are they going to know? Verse 47. Read it in your Bible. What are they gonna know?
The Lord saveth not.
The Lord does what?
Saveth
Who
not.
does it?
The Lord.
Who does it?
The Lord.
Who does it?
The Lord.
So, as I tell you, it's not Carleton. I tell you, if God heals you, it's not Carleton. I said, God makes a way for you, it's not Carleton. It's the Lord.
Amen.
And you look at me crazy, Pastor, but you the best know it's God. I'm not going to stand in God's place. Because you're going to come to me the next time, and I'm going to tell you, sorry, no. But the Lord. Y'all see this? Look what it says. He says, they shall know what? That the Lord saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is whose? The Lord. And who is going to win this battle? Lord. So why are we afraid? Why are we still talking about it? Why are we still fixing to? Y'all don't act like y'all don't know what fixing to is. I'm fixing to. Why are we still fixing to? It's time for us to cross the line. Verse 48, and it came to pass that when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to who? To meet David, that David did what? Oh! The little boy crossed the line. Goliath said, and when Goliath said, I'm going to show you. David said, okay, you coming. David said, I ain't backing up. I'm not backing up. My brothers ran from you. Saul ran from you. But I'm coming after you in the name of the Lord. No more talk. David said, I ain't talking no more. Everybody talking about what's going to happen to the man that defeats you. Everybody talking about what's going to happen or what's happened in the past. He said, it's time for us to take action. But look what that says. Look what that says. What does that say in the book? And David hastened and ran where? He didn't run away from the battle. He ran to it. And David, somebody said, and David put his hand in what?
His bag.
He didn't put his hand in Saul's armor. He didn't use anything that hadn't been proven. David said, well, I was learning how to pray. While I was learning to sing songs of gratitude. While I was meditating on the Lord being my shepherd, he said, I learned how to use my tools. reached in his bag and said, I'm going to use what's already been proven. Y'all ain't hearing me. And what I need somebody to do is stop looking ahead and what you don't know, but use the tools that God's already proven. Y'all ain't hearing me. And what God's proven is if you trust me, I'll bring you out. God said, if you call upon me, I will answer. Y'all ain't hearing me. If you look unto me, who is the author and finisher of your faith, look what he says. Look what he says. David hastened and ran toward the army to meet the Philistines. And David put his hand in the bag and took thence a stone and slang it. And did what?
Smoke the Philistines.
No, go back. You gotta keep going so fast. What David had, who had to do it? Who had to do it? David slang it. In other words, he had to perfect the craft. Don't come up here trying to practice. You get perfected in life.
Yes.
We want to come where it matters to practice. There's no time to practice when somebody's life is on the line. Right. You got to know this stuff.
Yes.
That's why as doctors, they have you to practice in residencies.
Yes.
They put you in a rotation of residence. And they put you under some of the most severe, intense time of learning your craft on your toes. So that when you find yourself in an emergency, it becomes second nature to you.
Amen.
What's happening to us
Yes.
is because we don't spend the necessary time in the process. We act in things that don't have power, authority, does not save lives, and does not bring good.
Amen.
But it's time to cross the line. Now, not only the line that the enemy has drawn, but the line that you've drawn for yourself.
Yes.
But some of you have lived beneath your privilege for too long. You said you can't do certain things. You let other people tell you what you cannot do.
Amen.
But when you know what God has already spent time with you doing,
Yes.
you don't have to hear naysayers or negative conversations. Somebody asked me this last night. Now that you are where you are, and you've been pastoring for almost 13 years, what kind of conversations do you get from people? Do they support you? Do you get the kind of support you need? And And I looked at them and said, well, because 10 years ago, or actually 11, 12 years ago, they were saying we were only going to be here for a short term. They said we couldn't make it. How could 4 people sustain themselves? Then we had a 5th, then a 6th person. How are they going to make it? How are they going to get the money? They paying for builders? Take money to have a ministry? They can't. So I wasn't going to tell them that the doctor said I couldn't have kids. Because then they would have told me, see, the Lord is rebuking me. The Lord chastening me. And I was exactly the opposite of what God was doing. Because what God was showing me is that you close to me, but you ain't close enough here. Yeah. And what he said is, if you trust me, I'll show you who I am. Yes. I had to stop coming to the building looking at in awe of what is this going to become. And God said, lay before me at the altar. Spend your time communicating with me, and I will show you mighty things. First thing he did was heal my body. But he didn't take the pain and the effects of what the doctor said was there. Oh, y'all ain't hearing me. But what he did was he healed. So I wasn't imprisoned by what I heard and what I felt. Y'all ain't hearing me. I went everything thinking, Mr. Turner, we think it could be cancer. Mr. Turner, we think it could be cancer. Every time I moved, I felt the pain. I wasn't saying, Lord, this thing growing. No, I was saying, Lord, I shall live and not die to declare the works of the Lord. Every time the enemy tried to come into my mind, I said to God, I can't praise you from the grave.
Oh, yes, Lord.
You get no glory from the grave. You can't let me die. Here we are in April 13 years later.
Praise God. Hallelujah.
Gone through experiences in ministry that some people pastoring 30 and 40 years haven't seen.
Yes, God.
Has it taken its toll? Yes, it has.
Yes, Lord.
I've cried many a nights.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
I've sat in this church by myself, cried many a nights.
Oh, my God.
But the Lord.
Oh, yes, Lord.
But the Lord.
Yes, Jesus.
That's what I need you to understand. Stop waiting on people.
Yes.
Don't worry about who leaves and who disconnects. You stay connected. David had people telling him where he should be, shouldn't be, what he shouldn't be doing, and what he was unable or incapable of doing all the time. But David had something personal with God. And when it came time to cross the line, David crossed the line by second nature. In other words, because I'm used to getting into stuff that ain't nobody around to help me with. He said, but the Lord. Y'all ain't hearing me. Tell somebody, but the Lord. But the Lord. It's going to have to bow. It's going to have to submit to the power of God. Rest of the story. When the men who were hiding saw that the boy had killed Goliath after he cut off his head, now they got in the war. Now they got in the battle. Now they're running after the Philistine. Yeah, it's easy now. What I'm telling you, saints, is stop worrying about people.
Yes.
Stop looking at who should be and who shouldn't be. You just stay connected with me. That stuff almost killed me. Always conscious of where people are, what they're doing, and what they're not doing. Keep your eyes on God. Keep your eyes. You can't control people. You can't fight people. All you can do is trust God. Because if you don't win a battle, it's going to be the Lord that gives you the victory. You know what I'm telling you? Stop hearing all that negative stuff they're telling you. What are you going to do for yourself? You can't do nothing on your own. I will show you what God will do for me. I have confidence in God only. So when you hear me make, bold statements, don't trust me, trust God, I'm not telling you that I'm not a trustworthy person. I can get the bank statements right now and show you the money that the church has. I can show you what's in the church's name but not mine. But what I'm telling you is I'm subject to failure. And I don't want you putting your trust in me at the beginning and finding out at the last that you should have been trusting God from the beginning. Amen. I'm going to help you trust God from the beginning. Amen. And know why I tell you don't trust Carleton? Because I let myself down. And if I can't keep myself confident in the fact that I may let myself down, why should I let you put your trust in me? That bothers me. Yeah, it does. I can't figure out how to make people stop doing bad stuff. That bothers me. I can't twitch my nose and fix broken stuff. That bothers me. But I know that when I connect with Him, He makes the crooked straight. He makes the weak strong.
Yes.
It's time to cross the line and defeat the armies. Some of you, the first armies of God you won't have to face is your own stubbornness. You ain't nobody holding you. You're holding yourself. Ain't nobody causing you not to be able to do what you should be doing. You're doing it to yourself. When you overcome these armies, you'll know the victory. That's not the end of David's story. You read the Bible, you know that David didn't go to the palace from this place. But that means that his battle with Saul got even worse. Because now they're singing songs about David and no longer about Saul. Y'all keep reading the Bible. God make it real. People say, see, it's so hard to believe the Bible because the Bible's so serious. No, read it. David was anointed, but running from because the man was jealous of his anointing. Read it. You want it nice and easy, but that's not according to scriptures. Amen? Amen. Go even further, you'll find that when they came for David to be appointed king, the people heard that Saul was dead. They rushed and made David's cousin a king before David was appointed king. David was only king over a small portion of the tribes. Your Bible says that. But when he said, God said, you're going to be the king over Israel. So if David was following what he saw and what he felt, he would have been defeated. But in time, I'm trying to tell you, saints, stop losing heart because you want things now. God knows what he has appointed for you. Just cross the line. Cross the line. I made up in my mind, I'm going to cross the line. That's what I'm telling y'all. Pastor Turner is crossing the line. If EAC is behind him, you're going to be right behind him. If not, you're going to stay in the mountain and be comfortable. But I've got to get to the valley. I'm going to the valley. The battle is not in the mountain. I'm done fighting church people. I'm done fighting church politics. I'm going in the valley for some souls. Somebody in the valley is afraid. And I've got to let them know that God who delivered me will deliver you.
Amen.